Hi everybody, this is Boog Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the Mcfarlane Stranger Things GameStop exclusive Ghostbusters 4-pack. So, let's first take a look at Dustin here, since he's not a figure that I own and have reviewed. Now, all of these come with a base and their Proton Pack, and the Proton Pack is so complicated to get on their backs. I just about broke all their arms off trying to get them on. So that is the reason they already have those on there. So, Dustin is the only one that has a different Proton Pack. All of them are painted differently, but this one has the trap with it. And he also comes with Dart. And here is Dart. And Dart is very, very tiny. But has some pretty good sculpt and paint detail to it for being so tiny. Yep, it's a really tiny accessory. And it fits in the trap here. It's attached to the Proton Pack. Now, this is another thing that irritates me. Also, they all come with these bases. And Dustin is really, really heavy, so you definitely need him to stand on the base. But since I'm going to be reviewing him, I'll take him off for there. Now, the trap here is really irritating because when you open it, the doors just fly off. That one doesn't fly off as bad as the left side here, but you constantly have to port that back in. But you can stick Dart down in there, and as you can see, that door fell off trying to close it. So that is really irritating. Let's go ahead and try and put that back on it. Now this side fell off. That's one of my main complaints about Dustin, is the stupid trap here. The doors do not want to stay on. Then when you do, you can tell that they kind of caved in a little bit. So, there. And he really can't hold it in his hand, because his hand is really wide. So he can kind of hold it loosely. And as you can see, that his left hand is also open pretty wide. And as far as I can tell, there's not an actual place that you can put this. Though I've kind of slid it in there like that. Like I said, there's not actually a place to put it, so that's just what I do. Now, even though all of them have the, well, Dustin has the different Proton Pack, but they're all painted differently. Other than being sculpted the same, they all some different paint. Like this one has buttons on it, and they're painted like a really, really light blue and dark orange. And the danger is in blue, and warning is in red. Well, it's in white writing, but has a red background, and that changes too. And this looks like a hose with electrical tape around it to get it to stay. It's sculpted pretty good. So now let's get this in his hand, and then we'll take a look at the head sculpt. Now, getting this in their hands is a fight sometimes. Like, they really don't want to hold it, and I'm afraid I'll break the hose off trying to get it in their hand, so I'll just have him hold it like that. So, looking at the head sculpt, I don't really think it looks like Dustin. Like, the hair is sculpted really nicely and has some nice paint and sculpt detail to it, but the face is just, I don't know. The eyes definitely aren't painted the best, and neither is his mouth. The eyebrows just look really weird. They're not even the same color. And one of his eyes is drooping. Yeah, I just don't think the likeness is very good. And the name tag says Stans there. Now, for the body has some really nice sculpt detail to it. The Ghostbuster suits. And it has a wash of brown over it, so it brings out a lot of the details. And on their left arm, they actually have the real Ghostbusters insignia there. So, that really surprised me. I figured they'd either put something generic there, or just not put it on there at all. Because with the DC Watchman comedian figure, he has a smiley face button. And it's just all yellow, because smiley face is trademarked. So they just had to leave it blank. So I figured that's what they do with these, but nope. They actually have the real Ghostbusters logo on there. So they must have done a special thing to where they could use this for the pack, the name and the logo for the pack. And there's his shoes. And the shoes look unnecessarily dirty. Like, they look filthy. They have a black wash over them. I don't know, they just look really dirty. And they don't have any sculpt detail to the bottom. Now, Mike and Dustin here, they share the same body mold. And I feel like they shouldn't have done that, because Dustin is a pretty big figure. You know, he's pretty wide. And I will show that off in just a second. Now, I'm probably just going to go over his articulation because all of them have the same articulation. Will and Lucas have the same body mold, but all of them have the same articulation. So for his head, he can only move back slightly and down slightly. He can move his head side to side slightly. He has ball-jointed shoulders that can move out that far. He has single-jointed elbow that can move in that far. He has swiveled wrist that can move up and down and side to side. He has swiveled waist that can move side to side. He has those double swivel hips that can do a complete split. He can kick forward just about all the way and back all the way. He has single jointed knee that can move that far. As you can see, these have a very tough ratchet joint there. And ball jointed ankles that can only move down just a little bit, up very slightly, and move side to side very slightly. And I saw that the trap here came loose, so let's put that back in there. So yeah, the articulation isn't great, because if you have the gun here, or makeshift gun I should say, the way it's supposed to be, then it's going to be pointed out like that. So you can't put it in their hands the right way to get them to hold it in both hands. You'll have to have it like that. And that's pretty irritating. And that is also irritating. It came loose again. I'm just going to leave it hang. So now let's go ahead and put him back into his base right here. As you can hear, it does make that sound. Let's go ahead and get him standing. If you have him on his base, you'll kind of have to have him leaning forward to get him to stand there. Now, here is Mike. And as you can see, they share the same body. And I feel like they shouldn't. Because, you know, it's too big for him, I feel like. Well, is that the same body? Let me turn his head here. Well, looks just a slight bit bigger. Well, I know the legs are definitely the same, and the shoes are the same. The Mike does look slightly different right here in the neck. Okay, so the torso might be different, but the legs and the arms is the same. Here is the Proton Pack, and this one has warning in pink and danger in blue, and the buttons are a different color. I'll probably show them all at the end of this review, what they all look like, how they're all different. And you can have him, like I said, the hands aren't the greatest to get the hose, or the gun I should say, into, but yeah, you have to really wrestle with it to get it in. And Mike is probably the worst of getting it to go in there, so I usually just have him kind of like that. So taking a look at his head sculpt, I don't know, I don't think it looks like him either. I just, like, here's the normal Mike. This was just the Series 2, or Series 3. I think it was the Series 3 Stranger Things Mike. And I think it just looks a lot better. His cheeks are really, really red. But, I mean, other than that, I think the likeness is just better. And the head on this one is just humongous. Like, standing them side by side, he's even taller. He's taller and way wider. That's why I said they shouldn't have used the same body. I think the torso, the upper torso might be different here, but the arms and the legs are definitely the same as Dustin's. So yeah, they should have used the mold that they used with Lucas and Will for Mike. Because it's just way too big. But yeah, I just don't think the likeness is that great. Like I said, since the articulation is the same on all of them, I won't go over that because, you know, they're basically four of the same figure, just with different head sculpts. there's really no need to go over that. There is Mike. And I knew that was going to happen. Dustin is just really, really heavy, and even the base doesn't really help him stand. So I'll just leave him back here. So maybe then he'll stand. But here is Will. And I think him and Lucas have the best head sculpts out of this pack. And this is the thinner body sculpt. Now, he does come with one accessory. He comes with a camera right here, the camcorder. And it has some really nice paint detail, like right there on the buttons. Came out pretty clean. But yeah, this has some really nice sculpt detail to it, and it just looks really good. But the thing is, none of them can hold it. I don't even know why it's an accessory. I mean, you can have him holding it like that, but that just looks stupid. Because you can't actually get his hand through it like it should. It's rubbery. I mean, you can stretch it, but yeah, you're going to break it if you stretch it. And that's the best you're going to get. They don't have the elbows to hold it the way they should either. So I really don't know why that was even an accessory. That just looks stupid the way he's holding it. So yeah, I don't like that. But, oh, I forgot to say, Mike's name tag says Vinkman. Forgot to say that. Will's says Spengler. Like I said, I feel like the eyebrows could have been a little bit darker, but the head sculpt really isn't bad. Like here he is next to the upside down Walmart exclusive version of him. And I think it looks pretty good. And he is just slightly taller than this version, but I don't really have an issue with that because the body type seems similar, you know, since it's skinnier. And that's why I feel that they should have used with Mike, because Mike just looks humongous. He really does. Now, for his articulation, the only thing that'll be different is the hand right here broke straight out of the packaging. And if you can see, it was super difficult to get glued back on because the peg broke up in the hand. So it really didn't want to stay on. So the articulation on his hand, he has, on his right hand, I should say, he has none. So getting him to hold his accessory is pretty hard. Now, the articulation is the same as everybody else, except the head. He can't look back at all. He really can't look down that far. But he can move his head side to side all the way. And I forgot to point out that his shoes are done in black and white. And the white isn't put on the greatest. The black is showing through a lot. The sole right here is where it came out the best. So it's painted on pretty sloppily. Now let's go ahead and put him on his base here. Actually, that isn't his base. His base is right here. But there they are. And finally, here is Lucas. Now, the head sculpt on him looks really, really good. Like, it is the best head sculpt out of all of them. The hair has some nice sculpt detail to it. And his face came out good. The only complaint I have is they only painted 2 of his teeth on, so he looks like he has buck teeth. They could have painted him out to here just a little bit. That way it doesn't look like he has buck teeth. But other than that, the head sculpt looks pretty good. It's definitely the best out of all of them. I forgot to show the difference in the proton packs. This one has the light pink and blue. And the rope right here is yellow and red. So, you know, they just have little things that's different with them. Nothing really too different. And his shoes are done in like purple, white, and gray. And are these the same? Yes, they're the same. They're the same exact sculpt. So everything is exactly the same on this one except the paint. On his name tag, it is also Vinkman. Because nobody wanted to be Winston. So Mike and Lucas ended up being both Vinkman. That was a pretty funny moment. But as you can see, the sculpt is exactly the same. The only thing that's different is the pain. So now let's to go over his articulation, since all the articulation is the same. He can look all the way up, and he can look down just slightly, and he can move his head side to side. All of them have bigger hair than him, so he has the best articulation in the head. So, as you can see, since he doesn't want to hold his the gun there they all are next to each other. And let me try to kind of lean Dustin forward here so I can get him to stand beside them. Let's try that. Okay, there, he's kind of standing. So there they all are next to each other. And yeah, this set, I did not get full price for it, but I think even on clearance was still a little bit too much for it, because all these figures are virtually the same. You know, the only thing really different is the head sculpt on them, because I'll show the proton packs here, the back of them. Let's rotate them here. As you can see, they're all a little bit different. Lucas does have a compass on the back of his. These do look similar. So there are all the backs of them. And like I said, they're all very slightly different, minus Dustin's. Dustin's does have the trap. That's really the only difference. So overall, yeah, this set was definitely not my favorite. I feel like $69.99 was way too much for it, because these figures can't stand. They're all just repaints of each other. They're basically the same sculpt. The only thing different is the head sculpt. They can't really hold their accessories. Will comes with the camcorder there, and he can't even hold it. The hand broke straight out of the packaging. They really can't hold the proton pack guns there either. That's one thing that really bothered me, is they really can't hold them. And if they do, it looks funny. It doesn't look the way it should. So yeah, this set isn't the greatest. Even on clearance, it's not great. So I'd recommend really just not picking it up. I definitely could not justify the $69.99 price tag, because you get basically 4 of the same figure with different head sculpts. So there's really not a lot with this set. So that's my review. And if you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.